Hey guys, welcome to Rosie's Dessert Spot. Today I'd like to show you how to make these two Anna and Elsa Frozen cake pops. To begin, we're going to make our white chocolate ganache. So I have 210 grams of white chocolate buttons here, and to that I'm going to add 1/3 of its ratio, so that's 70 grams. Coat your white chocolate with the cream. I'm going to zap this in the microwave for 30 seconds. This is a 30-second mark. Alright, I'm going to put it in for another 30 seconds. So that's 1 minute in total. You can see our ganache is coming together very nicely. Just make sure all the white chocolate is melted into the cream. I have some chocolate cake crumbs here. I'm just going to add a little bit of our ganache. There's no real amount or measurement to add that I can sort of advise you, but just enough until it all comes together and you can roll it into safe bowls that don't fall apart. Hence, it's always a good idea to keep some cake crumbs on reserve just in case you do add too much. I think I have here. So I've got some extra cake crumbs here I'm just putting in. And I'm just going to mix that through. You can tell when you roll them into balls, which is what we're going to do now, that they don't fall apart and they're not too soft. So I'm going to grab one, roll it in my hands, and that's all sort of looking for. Now, to make them the same size, I'm going to weigh them, and this one here is 46 grams. So if I make the other one 46 grams, we'll have equal sized cake pops. Once you've rolled them into balls, place them on some baking paper on the plate and just put them in the fridge or even the freezer for about 10 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to start preparing our chocolate ganache for the dresses. I'm going to separate them into 3 bowls. Got a little bit here, spread a little bit into this bowl, and I'm going to keep some white chocolate ganache just as is. I'm not going to colour it. For Elsa's dress, we'll use a light blue gel colour. Because it's in a ganache form, chocolate won't seize too much, so I'm not going to bother with oil-based colours, but if you do have an oil-based colour, I'd use that in your white chocolate ganache. Okay, so that's maybe about 2 drops. You can see how beautiful and deep that colour has become. For Anna's dress, I'm using a navy blue gel food colour. I'm probably going to add just 1 drop because that was pretty strong actually. Okay, you can set these aside to cool in the fridge and they'll come to a nice thick consistency that we can then pipe onto the cake pops. Now that the cake pops are nice and firm from the freezer, I'm going to start shaping them. So I'm going to roll them into kneaded balls again. And then just start forming a cone. Just pinching. And just continue pinching and rotating until you get a nice soft cone shape. Alright, I'm happy with that. Next I'm going to add the cake pop sticks. So I'm just taking my cake pop stick, dipping it into my chocolate ganache, my white chocolate ganache, which I haven't set in the fridge yet. And then I'm just going to pop it right on top and push it down. You can push it down all the way if you like, because these will be standing, you won't need to turn them upside down. And the same for the second one. Once that's done, put them back in the fridge or the freezer and let the chocolate ganache set. My cake pops have become pretty solid in the freezer. I'm just going to dip them into my white chocolate. And you don't have to be too neat about this because you will be covering the whole thing with the chocolate ganache. And just tap your hand to let that excess chocolate drip off and rotate while you're doing so, just to give it even coverage. And then set back onto your parchment paper and put to dry one more time. So my petal leaf is just very broad at one tip, very narrow on the other side. And what I'm going to show you now is a really cool trick on how to get a nice colourful frill happening at the edge of your underskirt. What I have here is a very thin brush tip. What I'm going to do is dip it into Elsa's light blue food colour. I'm just going to line the inside of my bag, just where the line is and where the line connects with the thinnest part of my nozzle. So as you can see, I've tried my best to line it up directly with that line that meets up with the thinnest part of the nozzle. And that's going to give us a really pretty blue edging to the thinnest part of our ruffle, which I'll show you in just a moment. This is the sort of consistency that you're looking for your white chocolate ganache. Do not overfill your piping bag. You'll want to add just a little bit at a time because you'll notice that it's very tough to squeeze out of the bag, so you want to work in small quantities at a time. And I'm going to start piping with the thinnest end facing the bottom, just zigzagging. Starting here, just zigzagging my way around. And then as I come to the edge, I stop and pull away, and then start directly over, and you'll want to overlapping slightly. And this will be her underskirt. Just continue all the way up until you reach the body. I've just put my Elsa's blue chocolate ganache into a piping bag, and I'm going to start piping the rest of her gown dress. Now again, starting at the bottom, just overlapping with where we left off, and the same zigzag motions going around just until you reach the other side. Lift off and work your way up the dress, overlapping with the bottom layer and just building it through. Once your white chocolate ganache has dried completely in the fridge, you're able to just manipulate it a little bit. If you needed some areas to be flatter, you can always just press down with your finger once the ganache is dried. So it's very forgiving. Once you reach the very top, I like to do one whole circle. Start piping. Same zigzag motions, only this time you're pointing your thinnest piece outwards rather than down. And that's how you make the dress. Done yet, we're going to stick these back into the fridge or into the freezer to set, and you'll want it to be nice and hard. My cake pops have rested for about 10 minutes in the fridge. You can see you can touch it and maneuver it however it is that you need, just to fix up any mistakes that you made along the way. So just cut out a couple of those, and I'm just adding them to the bottom of the dress. Adding one to the side, one directly at the back in the middle, and then one directly on the other side. Now that I have 3 positioned, I can position the other 2 evenly in between the spaces. Maybe make them a little bit higher than the rest, like that. Okay, just apply a little bit of edible glue onto the sticks. Edible glue is just a mixture of glucose syrup and water. I'm going to position her directly in the middle, into the ganache, and then just press her onto the back of the stick. Place her in the middle, and the back of the stick. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.